It's gonna be late. Who's 18162? Who's that?
181.
See this
So
the
it's
screen name?
8162 something.
Huh.
Let's see here. Hold on, let's look at my 8162. What's your number, Rusty? 223-2400?
Yeah, but I also have a 816-266-6860 number.
That's probably you then.
Oh. But it should just come up as Rusty.
I don't know. Is it on your phone?
Yeah, I have two phone numbers on my phone.
Well, I'm just saying, are you zooming from your phone?
Oh, yes, I am.
Sometimes it'll pop up too when it's like having to call in.
Got you.
Caesar. I'm just kidding.
I just want to make sure we don't have a spy in the group.
Yes, agreed. I can't see anything. Oh, there we go.
It's the auditor.
Oh, okay, good.
So we're going to talk about rules and regulations this week. Darren, start us off.
Exactly.
All right. So I know there's not a lot of people in yet, but we'll go ahead and just kind of start it off. What do you guys have going on? Anything while we're kind of waiting for everybody?
Just finished pickleball lessons.
Nice. Lessons? Were you getting them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say lessons?
Yeah.
And country club folks are serious about their pickleball.
Wow.
We can't have the Nietos coming in and playing a game and cleaning the court up with us, which is what happens.
Nah.
I thought in that
Brandy is intense on pickleball.
Me?
Yeah.
I just don't like to lose, whatever the game is, whatever we're playing.
I just thought in that age demographic, Lonnie, it just was a given. You didn't have to get lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, they're pretty intense. We went on a cruise, what was it, last year, and our son got smoked by these ladies that played pickleball at the country club every day.
Did he keep showing up? He kept showing up, see if he could win?
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But these old ladies, he would team up with them and they'd beat him. Yeah, they're intense.
There's a lot of strategy involved. That's what I'm trying to learn versus just whacking around.
Yeah, I played racquetball against my old neighbor who was an older guy. He couldn't even move, but somehow I was running all over the place, running into walls, falling down, and he's just standing there, like just destroying me. I was like 25 at the time.
I think we just came up with a new movie.
Yeah, we should have videotaped it.
Pickleball. We'll have to get Ben Stiller in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of dodgeball.
Yeah.
I already have that costume.
Guy. Pickleball shows up with the bands on his elbows and the headband and the fancy glittery racket.
You got to turn your hat backwards too to be cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The glitter paddle. I think I need one that shines in the light. Yeah.
Brandy showed up with one of those wooden paddles from 1960 and they still beat us.
My kids, anybody have kids, right? You know how sometimes you go to get the stuff, your stuff, and it's not where you left it. And you're like, okay, well, I got to take these little old school paddles because my good ones probably are in Tulsa.
Or broken.
Or broken, yes. But I went to go get some shoes the other day and I'm like, my shoes aren't here. Where are they? Tulsa. I didn't even know I needed to watch my shoes, but I do.
We couldn't figure out why our Wi-Fi wasn't working until we went to see our son at college and realized he had taken the extender box to college He's like, I just needed to be sure like that your video game connected. Right.
Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Yeah. I'm like, why is my Wi-Fi not working?
You're running two businesses to feed the family, but more important is video games coming in at a high frequency.
And homework, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's what he needed it for.
Sure.
Did you guys see that post yesterday where the guy put an advertisement next to the birth control and the pregnancy test? It looks like you need another bedroom. call me to buy or sell or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's
Oh
hysterical.
yeah, I saw that.
Well, I know some people are still trickling in, so I'll give you guys some stats I pulled just for like Lee Summit, Blue Springs, Raymore, Belton, Harrisonville. Just interesting fact. I just ask ChatGPT every once in a while to give me kind of a monthly update on them. So it looks like prices for Lee Summit, Blue Springs area are up about 3 to 5% from last year. Inventory has stayed about flat. And this was an interesting fact. In those areas, 52% of the homes are selling for under the list price. So I think that's probably the first time in my career that I've heard the majority of homes being sold under list price versus over. And then rough days on market out in that area is about 50 days. Cass County, kind of more towards Bates and a little south here. Inventory or prices are up 4 to 6%. Inventory is down 5%. Days on market's about 20, I believe. I wrote it down right, and I don't know. Not that
20
we're not.
sounds low.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to double check that. Let's see here. So in Lee Summit, it says the buyers are pushing back on prices now. In Cass County, it says it's more consistent that the sellers have the advantage because of the lower inventory. So maybe it's excluding new construction or something in Cass, because 20 days sounds very low. But what are you guys' thoughts on everything right now? The market, prices, inventory, how are your listings looking? Multiple offers, no offers? What's kind of the snapshot of all you guys?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have that property. It's in Peculiar. It's on acreage, and we got two offers, but they were like super low, like ridiculous. So, um, and then yeah, and my other house is sitting in Morning View, and we got a contingent offer, but my seller didn't want to take it. The house was not on the market, and it was not a great location of the house they were selling, so we're just sitting.
I would say, Jay, from a listing standpoint, I have a Ruskin Heights, which is so I've been tracking that one really well. We're on the market 11 days now, and nothing has gone pending in Ruskin Heights since we've gone on the market. So I always kind of look at that, kind of tells me if it's just us, if we're too high, if it's the house. My acreage property is getting lots of views, and I'm getting quite a few lowball offers, as maybe Joanna just said. My
What's that price at?
well, I'm priced at 600, and for the right buyer, it's an amazing deal. For most people, it's probably it feels like a lot of work, but we're negotiable. But I will tell you from working with a buyer, pretty hot little pockets, even in Raytown. I got a 200 to we'll say a 230 buyer. If it's decent in Raytown in that price range, it's gone quick. We're looking in South Kansas City, 64137, same price range. If it's decent, it's gone quick. Really good. Terrace Lake, St. Catherine's Gardens, Birchwood Hills. Birchwood Hills a little bit higher, but Birchwood Hills, if it's 300, it's gone quick if it's nice. So been looking in Belton under the 250 range, same thing. If it's decent, quick, gone, out the door. So
That's
yeah,
been my experience as well. Those 9s and 10s sell immediately, but those 7 and 8s will linger a little longer.
Exactly. So, yep, that's kind of so interesting. Very, I would say it just depends on where you're at. So,
Hope we got somebody from Achaia here. One listing in DeSoto. So many showings. The seller said no, multiple offers under contract. One listing in Grandview, multiple showings, multiple offers. Listing in KC, showing scheduled, and the agents are no calls, no show. Dang, Micaiah's got a lot. How do you have time to do everything, Micaiah?
He's
My
organ.
hero.
She's organized.
Well, that is a great transition into our next thing. I'm stealing some of Brandy's stuff that she brought
Uh-oh.
to our leadership meeting. So sorry. So, oh, actually, before that, Rusty, um, with the weather and stuff here lately, a lot of flooding and basements and things like that. Would you be able to talk to us a little bit on what we can do? I know we all know kind of grading and gutters and things like that, but like, why do walkout basements not have to have a sump pump versus a unfinished basement that needs a sump pump? Like, what's
Well,
reading that? Can you give us some info on all that?
yeah, that's not necessarily true. I mean, it really has everything to do with the water table below you. And sometimes I mean, the builder's going to know what they're working with, right? Whenever they install that. But whenever, like, I have a walkout basement and I have a sump pump, and I actually need two sump pumps because my basement's flooded twice. So it's like being married to a mechanic. Our stuff gets done last, but that's fine. Um, but I mean, that's important to have in your basement, right? For the obvious reasons. But I don't know maybe where you've heard that at, but it has everything to do with the water table and or the grading around the house, like you said. If it's not properly done and the water's just seeping in next to the foundation, I mean, the only way to get that water out, right, is a sump pump. It causes that hydrostatic pressure if you don't get it, and it'll start making your floors in your basement buckle. I don't know if you guys ever walked into some of those, but you'll see them like lifting in the center, or anywhere really. But yeah,
Explain that
that's
water table to me.
yeah.
Sorry if
So
everybody knows that, but
yeah, so depending on what like for instance where I'm at, we have a high water table. So we have a lot of rock that's underneath of us. So most builders will know, whenever they start having to break out rock and your price goes up to install your foundation, and then they make the choice to go ahead and not dig your basement near as deep because it's going to cost too much. But that's is I don't know how to explain what a water table is, but other than that, the water is sitting underneath that rock, and then you have less absorption. So there's nowhere for that water to go but stay, underneath it, for instance, in a foundation scenario.
so so it just depends on the dig, how much rock is under there, if you need a sump pump or not?
Well, that and what the dirt elements are, like depending on what type, if we're on a lot of clay and there's a lot of water just, sitting there underneath and it has nowhere to absorb and it just basically holds like a lagoon, that would be a good explanation. So it's just going to build, if you put a foundation on top of that and that water doesn't have anywhere to go, that's why people put the drain tiles around their foundation to be able to give it a path to get to a sump pump to find the exit point out.
Okay. Very cool. Anybody else have any issue? Am I the only one that had a whole bunch of houses flood this week, or?
I have
I did not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I have two sump pump estimates right here on my phone from properties that I got coming up and you know what? It's water table, exactly what it is on both of these. It didn't come in from the outside. It came in from underneath.
Underneath.
That's on my list as well.
Yeah.
You know that where there's a property Kentucky in Belton off of Kentucky over there's that subdivision. I don't know, they're $400,000-500,000 homes. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Harold
Tom,
Estates.
All the states?
it's
No.
on the back, so down the street from Tom. If you go
Kentucky
down there,
View? Kentucky View?
yeah, like you turn left on 163rd.
Yes, Kentucky
like
View.
right in that area, there's those houses. Yeah. They have a very high water table over there, so they experience that a lot.
Yep.
Anything else? I've seen the like the buried gutters and stuff like that. What's your opinion on that? That makes me a little nervous because I
That's
can't see
huge.
if the water's coming out.
Well, that's huge. Okay, so the simple remedy for that is, I mean, if you want, or you can have somebody
Cut it
do it.
off, put an extension, but
Well, I mean, not that everybody can do this, but it's really one of the most proven paths is take a garden hose and run it down that gutter and see where it's popping out at. That's your easiest find. But if you can't do that, it's usually at minimum 10 feet away from the foundation. She might have to move some grass around. But if your gutters are not taken out, you have a way higher percentage chance for that water to be going right down there by that foundation. And that's what causes those settlements and cracks in your foundation. So I truly believe, and I don't know if it's just because I'm in the business or I'm smart enough to know that like every gutter should be extended out from your house, including your sump pump.
Mhm. I
And
like the extensions. I'm just worried about the buried ones because unless you're out there looking at the discharge, I feel like those could get clogged. I had one clog up on one of my
they
buyers.
can't. They can't. So when we install those, we tell everybody this is a yearly maintenance. Like you need to run the hose down the gutter. You could those things can come. There's little self tappers that go into the gutter, and you can take those off at bottom for the people that don't want to climb the ladder, and you can flush those out. You can use even what's that? A power washer at your house, and you can flush them out because they do get sediment, debris, and different things in there. Um, it happens all the time, but it is just like everything else, just like cleaning your gutters. It is, you're also cleaning those extensions out, and they typically have pop-ups on those pop-ups get ran over all the time with the lawnmowers, but there's just a little cap you can get at Menards and Home Depot and just pop that bad boy back on.
Yeah, those make me a little nervous if you're not doing it because you just don't see it, and then it's underground right next to the foundation
Well,
on some of them. Some of them are supposed to go out, but I saw one go like
yeah,
right
and that
beside the parallel to the foundation. Like,
right. And like we always say, who you do business with matters, right? So not all people that install those are doing it accurately. Also, it needs to be a solid pipe, the solid corrugated pipe, not the perforated pipe, because that's just going to drain out next to your foundation. That's not going to do you any good. You've got to get it out a minimum of 10 feet.
Anybody else have any
Wow.
water tips or anything like that? We got Rusty the expert on here.
No, but thank you, Rusty. That was a good 15 minutes of education. I like it.
I will tell you guys a little funny thing. We are installing a septic system over off Lee Summit Road, which typically has rock. Shockingly, this one doesn't. But they thought of something pretty ingenious. I'm not exactly sure what the design was, but when you guys are selling these properties and they have their sump pumps tied into Never Never Land and we never know where they're going or whatever, well, these people had their sump pump tied into pipes throughout their yard near their septic, but whatever. But they must have like perforated in there. So it's like, well, that was one hell of a genius idea to water your yard if you're just going to run like an irrigation system that's not an actual sprinkler system, but they're pushing the water out to different various parts of their yard with holes in it.
Mm.
So sump pumps are not allowed to be tied into septic systems. And the reason why is because it will fail your field super quick because the field can only absorb what it can absorb. There you go. More info.
They had their sump pump tied into their irrigation system.
A lot. No, well, that they made their own irrigation system. So if you can imagine their sump pump line going out to an irrigation system that's not a real one, but they just wanted to distribute that sump pump water throughout their yard instead of it just daylighting and then pooling up in an area and then it's causing saturation. They just came up with some design underground to put their sump pump to be pushed out. So, maybe every 10 feet they have so many holes throughout. And so then it's distributing throughout the yard. I thought that was pretty smart to find a way to put your water in the city.
Are you talking, Tim?
I think he has us
I
on mute.
was. I'm
Oh,
so
you were?
sorry about that. Yeah. I was just trying to weigh in on those two things. My basement at my personal residence likes to, I have a front to back split. It's got the sub basement underneath the living room. So that whole sub basement is below grade. And I have a sump pit in it, but there's never been a pump in it. I've lived there for 20 years and that pit, never has water in it. So when Rusty was describing the water table, that's exactly the issue that I don't have to deal with. I'm way above the water table and my street is a little bit of an incline. So like the neighbor to the east of me is at a higher elevation. The neighbor to the west of me is at a lower elevation to mine. So the neighbor east of me, their water goes into my drain tile, which just funnels around my foundation and kicks into the next, it basically just diverts it around my foundation to the downhill property. So I've never had water in that sump pit, but for the most part, I'm above the water table, so it doesn't I don't have any issues there. Several of my clients, though, we did the check-in, where we message just to see, hey, is everybody's basement, dry? Any issues? Can we help make some referrals for? It was like 50-50. Like some people were like, no, in great shape. Other people, it's like, yeah, I did have a leak come through the crack that we've never had a leak, at ever before. So just a lot of those check-ins. Did make a couple of recommendations for some people. And then also my other comment was in respect to the underground gutter extension. So I did have an issue with one of my pop-ups getting clogged, and it was really hard to, it was actually like compacted. It had like the little helicopter, the little maple leaf helicopter things that were kind of jammed in it. It was really tough to get that unclogged. So there's actually these like grates. It's like an extension piece that it's an insert that goes between where your downspout comes down the house, but before it goes into the underground pipe. And it has this little like mesh grate on it. So if your underground lateral pipe gets clogged up, water will come gushing out of it. It's like a little relief or like an overflow thing. So like Jake posed the question, like, how would you know if you don't know you have a problem until it starts like backing up over your soffit or your fascia with this little insert piece in there. It's only like about 12 inches long, but it just has this grate in it that if the water starts backing up your underground lateral, it'll start gushing out of that little piece. So I think that's really, really handy. Instead of it being a sealed system, it's got an outlet if they do get backed up, which for me, I can always see when those little helicopters start kind of gathering, they start showing up there. And then I'm like, oh, it's time to get the leaf blower out. And I just put the leaf blower in it and it moves them along. So I just thought I'd weigh in on that.
Could you post a link to that part there? That's a handy tool. I thought you were going to talk about the gutter that was electric.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happens too. The electrified guttering system. Yeah, I've had that as well.
And when your folks are noticing like the basement's cracking or the foundation's cracking or whatever the case is, like figure out why. Like why are they having that problem? Everyone like wants to rush to fix, okay, well let's put some epoxy in here, let's brace it. But why did we get to that point? We need to figure out what the problem is. And 99% of the time it's water issue.
I think the saying is instead of pulling people out of the river, let's go upstream and find out why they're falling in the first place.
I like it.
Cool. All right. Anything else on the water and the flooding before we move on to the next one? Any other questions? Perfect. All right. So Brandy brought something up in our leadership meeting the other day, and I think it was a direct attack on me. So it was talking about your systems. Are you the system, or do you have systems in place? Are you talking, Tim? Oh, he might be on the phone. Okay, sorry. But do you have systems in place, or am I the system? And made me feel really bad about myself. So thanks, Brandy. But there's 5 different types of systems. I was just going to go over them with you guys and just see if you guys have these systems or systems at work that you'd like to share us any tips or tricks, or maybe you don't have one and we can kind of all figure out some together. The first one was a lead tracking system. So where do your leads go? Can you see at a glance, are they hot, warm, or cold? And can you see when you last contacted them? This needs to be a clear system and not just in your head. So I know Lonnie has his sheet that he prints out every Monday, I believe. Does anybody else have a good lead tracking system that they use?
Honestly, Command does that. If anybody's using Command, you can tag things as leads. You can tag them as hot, cold, warm, nurture. You can tag them. And then it also says right there, when's the last time you talked to this person? So Command has a great option for that if you don't already have something that you like.
Yeah, I know Command has a lot of tools. I wasn't sure if they had like a hot sheet on there that like, hey, this is a hot lead, and it pops up on your dashboard. every day until you mark it as not a hot lead or something like that. I'm not sure exact. I'm not the best with command.
So we have the whiteboard just like you have behind you, Jake, that we write everything on, and it's where it when it's where if where I have to look at it every day. So but I'm not saying that's the best system, but that's kind of where we're at. So
yeah, my problem with my whiteboard is I have to update it. And then I'm like,
yes.
I'll update that next week. And then I look back here, I'm like, dude, that closed in October. And I don't have any of the other deals that I have going on up there. So that's, or I'll have a bunch of, this is a lot for like ongoing transactions, but I don't have a great one for prospects. Like I almost need to get a second one for prospects and leads and stuff like that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, if I got into a coma, would my business keep going? No, nobody would know what's going on with my business because I don't have any of these systems down or anything where like Brandy could take over my business for me for a week when I'm in the hospital. Like I probably could with like Lonnie and Ryan. They have very good systems set in place, but mine did not. So that's lead tracking
Well,
system.
one thing you could do there with your lead tracking, Jake, is you could create in Command, if that's what you're using, you could create a tag for hot, for warm, for the different categories that you like, and then you could filter when you go to do your lead gen. You could do a filter by all your hot leads, and you could then it kind of sorts them for you. So that's one thing that it does. I don't know if it will pop them to the top. I know you can make a task. Tim probably knows even some of the cool things that Command can do, but but that is one way that you can do it. And I actually learned that from another team one time. That's where I got my lead tracking, was from seeing a successful team. That's what they did. They tagged them with different, and then based on their tag, like hot, nurture, warm, cold, different things like that, depending on what kind of smart plan they went on and what kind of a drip campaign they were on. And so anyway, something to think about there. You don't have to do it that way, but it's something to think about. Do I have a system? I like what you're saying, Jake. So thanks for turning that personal attack on you into a teaching lesson for all of us.
Yeah, thanks, Brandy. It's like
You're
when you're at
welcome.
church on Sunday and he's looking right at you, preaching at you. You're like, oh man, this one's for me. No, the next one's kind of a follow up on that. It's a follow up system. So when do you follow up? How often? With what? Hope is not a strategy. I'll remember is not a system. Oh, and I was thinking a good follow up call this week would be on the flooding and the water. Just say I wanted to see how I had a lot of my clients' houses flooding. I was going to see how yours was. That's a very easy, bring some value phone call. But I think Command does a good job on this as well with the DT, D2 or whatever.
Jake,
Go ahead.
What would you say if somebody said, yeah, my house is flooded? Then what would you tell them?
Man, that sucks. And then you hang up. I'm just kidding. No, no, you just, you give them Rusty's number or your foundation guy's number, or have them take some pictures, see where it came in at. Just try to help them figure out where it came from and get them to the right people.
Yeah, that's actually what you want to hear every once in a while, because you don't want bad things to happen to good people, but that's where you come in and be a resource and go, wow, we're seeing a lot of that. I'm sorry you're dealing with it. Here's what we found. These 4 or 5 people are great resources. If you don't already have somebody, you might want to give them a call.
Yeah, that's a great way to get referrals. On my self-talk that I did all the time whenever I was first starting, that was a thing that I always put on there, is a problem is a chance to grow a deeper relationship and more trust with the client. So, what are you saying, Tom?
Oh, sorry.
Read it out loud to the class. I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry. I was doing talk to text. Sorry. I forgot I was on this call.
But Tammy, did you have a good foundation guy or anybody that you could refer any of those people to, or do you need some resources?
No, I didn't even know Rusty did it. So that was great to find out. I knew she did septics, but I didn't know she did basements too. So that was good.
Do you do, I didn't know Rusty did that either. Do
I
you do
thought
like
that's what
beams
you
and stuff
were
like that, Rusty?
saying.
You
I don't
stepped
know.
away for a minute.
Oh,
I think
well,
it's anything that involves a backhoe, Jay can handle.
Yeah.
I think that's how it was left last time.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do a lot of basement repairs, but they do a lot of water management, right?
Mm.
So like on these storms, a lot of it's, I mean, every foundation's going to have cracks and things like that in it, but managing the water flow is what they're really good at. So whether it's putting in a French drain or redoing drain tile or you know, clearing out a culvert or something. Yeah, you're right. Anything with the backhoe, anything that requires excavation work and or water management, man, they're wizards at it.
Yeah, what Tim said.
Yeah, and if you ever what I was telling my mom too, whenever she says, "What if somebody asks me a question that I don't know?" Figure out your line. Okay, yeah, I've got somebody for that. Let me get their information and I'll send it to you. And then you go to our Facebook page and say, "Send me a foundation guy right now, please." And you'll get everybody sending you stuff, or go to our thing. But have kind of that, let me go get their number and I'll send it to you kind of thing. Instead of saying, "Oh, well, I don't know who it is, but I'll go find it." We've got everybody in this office, which makes it nice. And Rusty is a huge asset in Rayland. I appreciate you guys being in our office. I don't know how many times you guys have saved my butt.
Sorry, I had to step away to answer something real quick. I didn't even think. You're welcome. I'm not sure. Yeah, anytime.
All right, so the third, anything else on the follow-up system? Does anybody do that very well?
No.
All right, we've got to be doing something well, you guys. We're like the best office in the county by a mile.
Well, you got to use this technology to be able to write on a piece of paper, Jake. It's pretty complicated. I think sometimes people get caught up in needing the perfect system, the perfect this, the perfect that. I need a perfect coach. I need a perfect this. Oh, I need to go to this training. It's like, just get in there and F and do it. It's just crazy. We've got to get people into activity. And I think sometimes they just are thinking they don't have the right systems, or I don't know everything about this contract, or what if they ask me this? Just get in there and do it. Start mixing it up with people, have conversations, and see what happens. And by the way, every time you have a conversation and you're done, you're going, "Oh, I should have done that," or "Oh, I fumbled that." That's growth. That's just moving the ball forward in your business and your development. If you think some of these, what we perceive as polished people, started off polished, you're absolutely wrong. They got polished over time. They skinned their knee a lot. But I think we just have to go. I mean, we're crushing it as an office, but we just have to get people to just go, start doing this. Find some other people to help hold you accountable, whatever that looks like. And because there's not one person that when they stop and they focus, don't report something positive occurs. But we've got to stop and do it. No different than going to the gym. I mean, we're not going to get real healthy if we just drive by it every day. If we pull in the parking lot, we're getting closer. But if we have to actually get on the treadmill, now we're moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think we do a fairly good job as an office, especially everybody on this call, of doing it. Brandy proposed a question. If I gave you 5 new deals today, would your systems be able to handle it? Or would your follow-up system lack? Or would your new lead generation lack because now you're working on your business or in your business instead of on your business? But no, I agree with you. The best system is one that you'll use, and just do it consistently. But then whenever she said, what if, especially with the spring and the summertime coming up, if we have 17 deals going on at once, do we have the systems in place to maintain that and also follow up with our leads and do our lead gen like we're supposed to? Or does something in our business need to change and become more efficient?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask, Jake, because a lot of you are pretty good at going out to talk to people. You're doing open houses, but then if we don't have somewhere to bring those leads, not everybody's ready to transact this weekend. So what does that look like? Are they going on a paper? Are they going in a database? Where does that lead go? And I think that's where you're at, Jake. If that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
To make sure we don't let these things, we do the work to create the lead. And then if we don't have a system of some kind or some sort of net to keep them in, we'll lose track of them. And next thing we know, Tom O'Connor's posing with a picture and a sold sign with this client that could have been ours. So, I know you, Tom, you're there to scoop up any homeless
I am.
clients.
They call me the trash man. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
No. I'm still waiting on those 5 deals, Brandy. You said,
Oh,
could you
yes.
handle them? I said,
Oh,
yes,
see,
just
I
hand them to me.
forgot. I didn't have
Come
a
on.
system to disperse them. So, sorry about that.
I think
All right.
another
So the next one, go ahead, Lonnie.
I think another thing to keep in mind, and Lisa Cummings and I were talking, I don't know if Lisa's on or not, but she's obviously a new licensee, is she immediately jumps into activities and education, no surprise, right? But she's got to give herself grace, because now once you start this process, it takes time for it to bear fruit. And I always do that grid, the first quarter of your business, when you're launching or relaunching. For some of the agents that have been around for a while, you may see very little true production in that first quarter, and maybe just one deal in the second quarter. It's the third and fourth quarter where things start to rock and roll. You just have to get past that 6-month quit zone where you're like, man, what? I guess it's just me. Brandy on this call, obviously extreme talent. She went 0 for her first 6 months, and then all the activities and the hard work started to pay dividends, and then she just went on a heater after that.
Oh yeah. I mean, heck, even the seasoned agents, if we're not working today, we're not getting paid 90 days from now. And then if we start working then, now we're still 3 months out, probably minimum, from getting paid on anything.
It's like relaunching. You might as well be new again. You're kind of stopping and getting back into activities with some kind of intentionality. And that, just because you decided to relaunch, doesn't mean things are just going to sprout up. I mean, we've got to water this thing, and it takes time. But very, very intentional, purposeful commitment to see the results in this thing. The 3 leads I have this week, 2 are going to be a listing. One's going to be a buyer, it looks like. One was in the top of my pyramid. 4th transaction for this family, and now they're retiring. So we're going to sell their house, and they're probably just going to go into a managed care facility. And the other one was referred from the middle of our triangle. And that's going to be a list and a buy side. And the buy side will probably be pushing $1 million, which is pretty cool. So nice. Again, that's really 200 people in that I have to keep track of and touch and love all over. It's not, my pyramid's a little bigger than that, but it's, if I can do it with a lack of technology, then everybody else should be able to do it with just any kind of technology.
Oh yeah, I think the problem, especially, I get into this a lot too. If we have a lot of transactions going on or something like that, then we don't. That's why our business kind of goes up. We'll have a $40,000 month, and then a 0 month, and a 0 month, and then a $50,000 month, and then a 0 and a 0. So. I think that's where we can get, as an office, get better at, is while we're having all these transactions go on, we still need to have these systems in place where we're generating new business that's coming in. So I know I'm not the only one that can fall into that, where I'm so busy working on the deals, I don't have a good pipeline for the rest of it. All right.
Even does so at the office level to some extent. When we get into the busy months, and then people just have their head down trying to do those deals, they get away from the activities to generate business. So even at the market center level, it has a little bit of that, because if you think about it, the market center is just a reflection of 120 people and their business. So we actually see that a little bit even at the market center level.
Yeah, we're banking on you to help us out on those slow months, Lonnie, but
I'll do my best.
All right, number 3 is the transaction system. Is Shelby on here? She's usually on here. I don't think she is. I don't see her.
I'm here. I just don't know how to work my phone.
Hey, Shelby.
Hi.
Actually, I want to save yours for the next one.
Okay.
Never mind. Are the Finns on here? They have a very good transaction system, from contract to close, a checklist, a timeline, communication plan. At the end of that, we want the clients to feel like this transaction went smooth. Again, if this one transaction is easy to manage, but if we have 10 transactions going on, what is our system? And do we have something that we do consistently every single time? Does anybody have a good, or feel like they do a very good job at the transaction system? I feel like my transaction system is much better than like my follow-up system.
I have a good one. It's called Stephanie Finn.
That is a great one.
That has made all the difference for me in the world. And that's not everybody wants a TC, but for me as a new agent, I did several myself, with Jake's assistance. But it was keeping me up at night. I mean, I was so worried. Or when it was time to write an offer, which always happens Friday night at 8 o'clock, I would just be in this office here, it's like sweating and freaking out and calling my son and irritating my daughter-in-law. And so I thought, okay, I understand how to do it, but why I'm not, that's not my skill set. And it's so stressful for me. And so since I have 5 closings in 6 weeks and Stephanie managing those has changed my life. I mean, I just rest easy. So if that's a thing, if people are doing that, it's worth every penny in my mind. I just, it's just such a backup. She puts it together and then she'll remind me of things again as a new agent, like, hey, you need to schedule inspections. Oh yeah, or it's just a huge resource. So whether it's Stephanie or Hannah or whoever, I mean, it literally has changed. It's made all of this a lot more fun because I'm focused on the client and not just sitting here scanning these documents over and over and over looking for mistakes. So that again, just wanted to shout that out, especially for people that are new like me.
Well, if you're new like you, I would recommend get into coaching and learn the stuff and then get your TC.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Want to make sure we don't skip any steps with learning the contracts and
yeah,
the processes and all the things and make sure, that will just make you a super strong agent. But absolutely, if you do get to that place in your business where you've got so much going on, you need a TC, then let's talk and get that going. I mean, if you want to. But so
yeah. And
you
I did
can
the
focus on.
first ones myself. I think you're right. Jacob told me that. He said you need to know how to do it yourself, Mom. So I did the first several myself, but then I'm like, got it. Now I want somebody who's good at it.
Well, I know for sure, for sure. I use a TC. I think a lot of us do. I just want to make sure I don't want us to all run to TCs and we don't know our contracts and we don't know our processes. That's just, and I think Darren, if he is on here, Darren would agree with that. We need to know our contracts, our processes, our things, and not that you're not saying that. I know you are, and I know you do. But that's, for the newer people on here, let's learn them first and get good and comfortable with them, and then we'll tag somebody in to help us so we can focus on our clients, because that's the system Jake is talking about, is what does it look like on that end of things, the client end of things, from their perspective. What would their perspective be of working with you as an agent?
Ooh,
So,
I don't know. I'm going to
yeah.
call on you, Trisha, if you got us, if you can. The your checklist and timeline. Like, what do you? I call you. I want to sell my house. What happens from then on? What do you send me? When does it get sent? When do we do photos? How quick can we do it? All your houses and stuff always look so nice. Do you do cleanings on all of them? Can you share with us kind of your checklist and timeline for a listing?
Yeah, I think it's different every time. I think it's about what is the client, what's their goal. Some of them are, I need to move fast for whatever reason. And if that's the case, then we just focus on making the best of what they have. Usually that's just decluttering and getting rid of all kinds of stuff. So that's the focus. I just show up with a bunch of tubs and we just start putting in them. This is what's moving with me. And we take a bunch of boxes that they're going to donate and we put it in their car and a bunch of trash bags, and that's going in the trash. And that's just where we start. The box, the bag, and the tub. And we just schedule those photos. And yeah, no, I've taken photos of some pretty dirty houses and then told them the next day you got to get cleaning because you can't really see it. So let's not focus on all the dirt. Let's focus on just getting the photos up and going first, and then you guys clean for the next few days. So I think getting those in the pre-MLS with just a random front photo, even though it's not your favorite, at least you can then start advertising it and pushing it out there because you've got them in that situation. So that's my goal. If their goal is about money, then, and they have a little bit more time, or finding out if they're going to move out first. I think there's just a lot of possibilities on what they're going to do. Um, and I think it's finding the things we know our buyers highlight. When they walk through a house, what do your buyers look at? Those are the things I try to address with my sellers. You know, if you've had foundation work done, but you still have all the cracks upstairs, I don't care what you've had done, every buyer is going to go, "Oh, we've got a $50,000 problem here." So that's where we have to address. We have to get a painter in here and fix these cracks and repaint your walls. And then when you list you had your foundation done, it looks like you actually had it done. It's a visual. So I think it just depends on each one.
During the transaction, so let's say we've got a contract on there, what's your communication like with your clients at that point on the sale side?
If I have the seller,
Yep. So if you have the seller, do you do anything specific during? Because sometimes after we get a contract, I'm like, all right, inspections went well, and then I don't talk to them again for 2 weeks if I don't remember that.
no, I think I do a regular check-in with my clients. In fact, even after we get it under contract and through inspections, I often will be like, "Hey, why don't I swing by and we talk about the next steps of getting you packed. We look at about what you can do," because often that's their fear. What if I start packing and things fall apart? Or what ifs? There's always the what ifs. So I think it's important also to tell them that, the next step is appraisals. And, as well as we priced your house, those are things that we have to consider so that they understand if it should come back differently, that we did talk about it. So I think it's letting them know what the pitfalls can be all along the way, um, without being negative. I think it's super easy to go, "Hey, here's what's next. Here's what's next." So yeah, I talk a lot to my clients. I feel like it's important. I like to encourage them. I often send them a text going, "Hey, your house looked so good during inspections. Thanks for doing that." I don't know, just something that keeps them encouraged, because we do get a lot of feedback. And currently, every buyer and seller that I have, I tell them, just know going forward, you could have to negotiate a roof, because that just seems to be a thing at the moment. So I just want them to know up front, when we look at houses, this is a situation with our roofing and our insurance. And my seller's the same. I'm like, if your house roof is over 10 years old, just know that's really something that could come back as a negotiation. Be prepared. So that's a conversation that's new that I feel like I have with every one of them before we list or start looking.
Yeah, I feel like Lonnie's done a really good job of training all of us on prepping and having those conversations up front with our clients instead. It's so much smoother if you just do a little bit of prep work. Hey, this is probably what we're going to expect, and then it comes up, and you're like, all right, perfect. We already planned for this. So much better.
Yeah, I had a conversation this week. A lady lives out of state, has an acreage, and she updated the entire house and spent a lot of money on it in 2002. Okay, so which is wonderful, but it's 20 something year old update, right? So she feels like her house is updated when in fact the styles and trends have all changed. So we told her, hey, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but just so you know, you're going to get a lot of feedback is people are going to perceive your house as one that needs considerable updating. So once I picked her up off the floor, then she was okay with it. And I go, just know that's how it's going to play out. People are going to focus on that. They're going to say it's more work than they want to do, that all this kind of stuff. So sure enough, 16 showings in, no offers, looking at the feedback, sharing the feedback. She's panicking because most of them have been almost exactly that. It's decent house, and the but is typically, it's just more than we want to take on. So anyway, I just went back to our original conversation. I go, remember, I sat in my car and we talked about this. I told you people are going to tell you that over and over and over again until somebody comes along with a vision of handling it, and that's the person we engage. So we had to circle back to the conversation to get her, back into my lane. And then now we're good again. She's like, okay, yeah, we did talk about that. And you said it would probably play out that way. And that's exactly how it's played out. I was just hoping that it would be different. And I'm like, well, I'm always hoping too, but we do this for a living. I know what to expect. And usually it plays out. More often than not, it plays out, based on our expectations.
Bonnie, on the feedback piece, you're exactly right. And I failed to do that. On one of my last listings was to prep the seller for, hey, yes, I did say you're going to get some feedback, but I didn't prep that it might be negative. And sure enough, we got some pretty heavy negative feedback on a house, and I had to like scrape her off the wall. Like, my response was, I should have been more sensitive about sharing that with you, because I didn't prep her for that, and that's a lesson that I know going forward now. And I should have known before because we've had this conversation, but like I said, there's a lot that goes on in a real estate transaction, and sometimes we forget. So
Back in the day, we used to edit it. The feedback would come to me, and I decided what was going to the seller, whether it was going or not. And then,
yeah.
then I finally got to the point that I'm like, first of all, it's a smoother, simpler system, less me involved if it just goes directly to them, as long as I lay the groundwork on what you just talked about. Now, if it just goes to them without that, then Katie barred the door. Anything's possible. But if we have that conversation, and in my conversation, I go, hey, this is unfiltered feedback. It comes directly to you. The cool thing is you and I see it at the same time. So we don't need to pick up the phone and powwow about it because we both can read. But here's what's going to happen. No matter how, even my nicest of nice listings, most of the comments will be the things they didn't like about the house. Oh, nice enough house, but way too small, not enough closets, whatever. So when you prepare them for that, then when they see it, they're still not thrilled with it, but at least you've had the conversation.
Jake, one more thing I've been doing is helping people prepare for FHA. Like I just have 10 outlet covers in my car, and I'm like, hey, here's you some outlet covers. Please cover those behind your couch that you haven't seen in 6 years, or and if you don't have smoke detectors, go ahead and put them in. Like, here's some simple things we can do to help with that inspection. They don't cost a whole lot, but they do show up a lot. And a lot of times, if agents are walking through with FHA buyers, they're going to point it out. They don't have, these are the things you're going to have to deal with in an inspection. So if we've covered those things that cost less than $100, then I feel like it can just kind of help people see the house in a different light. It's not as many things that they see as a checklist that they're going to have to fix, because they might have to fix a roof. But if we don't have to do all these little things, that's pretty helpful on the pros and cons list.
All right, Shelby, you're probably the best at this one. Client experience system. What happens before the deal, during the deal, after the deal? This is where referrals are born. So how do we build relationships? What do we do? You go above and beyond on everything. So what's your
Thank you,
system on this
Jake.
one, Shelby?
Jake was texting me the other day and he was throwing out some good ideas and I was telling him some things that I was trying to do. I struggle a lot with the closing gift because, to be quite honest, I'm exhausted by the end of the deal, and spending any more of my time and effort and energy trying to think of something is not what I really want to do. So I am changing it because I listen to the pivot shift everywhere I go. Thank you, Laura Crotty. And I am trying to do a little bit more of like sprinkling in stuff. So just a simple thank you so much card after meeting with them, or like before pictures, I try to take a bouquet of flowers and do thanks so much for getting your house ready to go. And then the flowers are on the pictures and it looks really nice. And then they got flowers. It looks good, win-win. And then trying to think of little things to do after, like, okay, you survived inspections, like a funny little gift after that. And then, okay, we survived the appraisal, little thing after that. Depending on how far away the house is, that also plays a major factor. If it's right down the street, no big deal. But if you have to drive 1 hour one way to drop something off, that isn't going to happen. But yeah, just trying to more sprinkle stuff in along the way. And I am really bad about asking for reviews. So I need to work on trying to do that. And if you're a little bit more involved in giving along the way like that, maybe they will help give reviews. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, thank you,
So,
Shelby, for this gift. That was so sweet. Oh yeah, no problem. If you can leave me a review and say that I'm awesome and I got you lots of gifts. No, I'm just kidding. But
yes, exactly.
that's when you can ask for the reviews when you're giving them something.
Yes, Yep, it's kind of, yep. Hopefully they'll all
Or
over the keyboard
referrals.
with good stuff. Yes.
I always, if they wake me up late at night and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm calling you so late," oh, it's okay. Just send me a referral and it'll be fine.
Yes.
So,
That's a good one.
um, I have a bad with the client experience. I'm not always the best at the after. I feel like once I get in front of somebody, I can connect with them. They're happy with me during, and then I sell them a house, and then 3 years goes by, and I'm like, man, I didn't follow up with them because I don't have a great follow up system. But I like Christmas gifts, things like that. Has anybody had any good success with anything like that on the following up after the deal? Or any tricks, tips, things that went successful? We only have a couple more minutes too.
I
I
don't know if
just always
Nanette
am
is on
able to
here.
then send them
Oh, sorry.
something that says happy home anniversary the next year. They're already in your command. So you've already tagged. That's an easy tag once you close, is to move them to closed, update the address. It's going to pop up on your every day. It's going to show you those kind of months or a few weeks that you had. And it's so easy to send them a text, a card. I try when I see my friends on Facebook have birthdays to jump on command and add it in there so that I know that they're getting a birthday card also. Um, so those are to me are easy ways to keep connected, but I also do send everyone one email every month. So whether they read email or not, I don't ever know, but they do get one. So that's kind of the best I got at the moment.
So on your email, Trish, that you send out, it's a personal email or is it in command that goes automatic?
I actually have a virtual assistant who creates it for me and sends it out, but I often do it'll be with my all my like information at the bottom, but the email may be something about 5 ways to prep your home for spring,
Yeah.
ways to save on your energy this month, big happenings in Kansas City for the 4th of July. It's just always random because I don't want them to feel like I've seen this already. I don't want a market value of my property. Like it's usually not asking for anything. It's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
only information. Hey,
Nice.
I know as the seasons change, we sometimes need vendors. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of you are staying in your homes at this time. I would love to. You probably have upgrades. Who can I send you that helps you with those things? Those kind of things. So I try not to be about, it's not really about can I do something as in buying or selling your
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
It's never to do with that because I feel like they already know I'm a realtor when they see my face at the bottom and it says
Yeah.
Trisha Henson Realtor brokered by Keller Williams Southland. Like they're going to know that. So in that way is kind of how I'd rather go about it.
Yeah. Good.
I've had
Thank you.
some success at the end of the closings, especially like with people that are out of town or something like that. I'll leave a list of like, hey, here's some local churches that I'd recommend. This is the best Mexican place. They have great cheese dip. These are fun places to go. This is the local grocery store that I recommend. Just kind of like something like that. I've seen, especially my out of town people have really enjoyed that. Or if they like to golf, I'll send them kind of these are some good golf courses around. Um, but that's really only on like the out of town ones. But I've had some good success with it. People really seem to like that.
I think sometimes when I have clients moving into Cass County, that when they close, I will give them a gift card to like my favorite Mexican restaurant. And I'm like, hey, just because you've not been here, you have to try this. So not only did my Mexican and my business card stapled to it, so present this. Well, now the Mexican restaurant knows that Trisha gave them this bought from me and her name's attached to it, but they've also tried something local. They feel like you gave them a heads up on something. So it's an easy $30 to attach to your closing when they're moving into the area. Give them,
Yeah.
go buy some gift cards to Raymore Nutrition. They're local businesses that we want to support anyway. And then they feel like, oh my gosh, you are supporting me and we're local and your clients are going to go try it. So I think I try to tie in my community every chance I get.
Nice.
All right, we got 1 minute here, so I'll just say the last one here. The last one is personal organization system, calendar blocking, time management, and daily priorities. If your day runs you, you do not own a business. And then it says building a business without systems is like trying to build a house without a frame. So on the first, this is one that I think I'm the best at, is because I put everything in my calendar because I'll forget it if I don't. But and Ryan had told me this as well. If you need to make an appointment with yourself to take a nap in the middle of the day, put that on your calendar. I mean, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. But I like to do that every day. Get my priorities and what do I have to get done today. Put that on my calendar and really make that a have block. Like I do a lot of time blocking and stuff for that. But those are the 5 systems. I thought those were really good. Brandy brought them to ALC, so I just wanted to share them with everybody. But anybody have anything else before we go?
What was number 4? I missed it.
It was, so we have
Hey, just
lead follow-up, transaction, client experience. Client experience and then personal organization system. So yeah, I thought those were great.
Thanks, Jake.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Have a great
Jake.
day.
I got lots of room for improvement.
Hey, somebody go sell something today.
All
Great
right.
call.
Amen.
Great call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.